Alright, hey guys, we're going to do another video for YouTube and also Instagram, so that's going to be fun. And basically we're going to be going over this piece and just art in general. So that'll be interesting. If you're wondering right now, yes, this is a live stream, so it'll be pretty fun. It's 12 o'clock in the morning right now. But basically, for this piece, what I decided to do was try to encapsulate a environment as well as sort of a sense of the aesthetic that my series wound up giving, which I hope that I did correctly, which is, it's basically supposed to be about this guy right here. He's one of the main protagonists. So basically what his deal is, he's kind of based off of me, but basically his deal is that, you know, he's a person that is like me, you know, respectful, caring, you know, trying to help everybody out, that sort of thing, right? You know, trying to figure out his life as it goes, you know. Not only develops as a character, he has, you know, sort of his own ideas and stuff, as everyone does for their characters. You just enjoy how life goes. But, you know, he's faced with specific obstacles and stuff and so on and so forth. That'll be later on in the series. But basically for this character right here specifically, you know, he specifically gains abilities in a sense of he's chosen, I guess, kind of like how you would say, like, various other characters in comics have been chosen to give their powers, kind of like, I guess you could say, what Deku and All Might, that sort of thing. Basically, someone transfers their powers over. But here's the thing for him specifically, he wasn't the first iteration of that version. He's the 10th one, because specifically, he right here, you know, basically it starts off, there was a war with demons, and, you know, the group of people that are like him, his predecessors, basically, are there to protect the earth and that sort of thing. And so, you know, they're trying to make sure that, you know, everything's kept intact, because basically demons are trying to utilize the chaotic elements of humanity, you know, like, more specifically, you know, the hatred, the anger, the war, the corruption, that sort of thing. They're trying to manipulate humans to join them, and in a sense they kind of are in terms of how they, you know, cause violence amongst each other, that sort of thing and whatnot. And so essentially what his priority is to, you know, stop people from doing that, and he's gonna have to use violence, of course, because, you know, those people are already corrupted as a sense of through their society and the means of how they become successful, kind of like how I view it, specifically how real life works, because, you know, it's really hard to be successful and not have a sense of corruption, if that makes sense, because now you got politicians and stuff nowadays. Now, I really don't try to get into it, but this story is basically going to give a sense of how I specifically perceive society. You know, you might not agree with me, you know, that sort of thing, but I'm going to try to make a compelling character, you know, down to earth stories, other than, you know, obviously just him getting abilities and that sort of thing. And, you know, a concise, character-driven story that not only just has the characters, you know, be different types of characters, diverse characters specifically, I would say. Not like, oh yeah, this character is this way because of this and they fit this specific stereotype and that sort of thing. No, like, I would prefer to have characters that are characters themselves rather than character designs that base them off of their stereotypes. Because to me, that's a issue with a lot of media, multimedia characters and stuff in films and movies and stuff. So that's what his purpose is, and various of my other characters. But his specific abilities, because he, like I said, he gains abilities. His specific abilities are more or less so, but this character's specific abilities named Ninja Shadow, which is a title, it's not his actual name. But his specific abilities are able to manipulate shadows. Like, say, for instance, you see my hand right here, it leaves a shadow in the behind me, because we're not translucent, we're actually, fully, our anatomy has layers and that sort of thing. But his specific ability is to manipulate shadows as a form of energy, and which are actually in the fibers of his suit, and he uses that to, more or less, specifically in terms of design, he uses it to make weapons, that sort of thing, and so on and so forth. He can also he's a really intelligent character. He's a young man, developing his crafting skill, figuring out his life, that sort of thing. But he also is trying to, do the best that he can, trying to help others out. And, like in real life, you do realize that some people just can't be helped because they're so stuck on one specific sort of mindset. And those are some of the challenges that he's going to have to face later on. So that's really his thing too. And thank you for joining this live stream. I know it's very late, but yeah, that's specifically what I want to do for this story. I want to have social commentary, not much political commentary, but it does have political aspects. I don't want to make it seem too preachy or whatever. I want it to be interesting to the viewer, so that it's different in terms of storytelling and so on and so forth, like every other comic out there. But I also want to have something that's more diverse in characters. Like, if you notice nowadays, there's a lot of characters who are, I kind of want to say it, but I'm going to have to. There's a lot of characters who are one-dimensional, don't have enough layer, and they end up all looking or being too similar to each other. And the issue with that is that, yeah, we're all used to seeing someone like, your Batmans, your Superman, your Spider-Man, your Iron Mans, that sort of thing, your Deadpools. But that's not my issue. Those characters are great. They've lasted a long time for various reasons, because they have different writing and so on. But, like, my issue is this, more or less. You expect me, and various other creators and artists, to believe that only one specific group of people have abilities, and that they should be the main character of their stories. And I have nothing against that. But here's my issue. If you want to make more representation, have diverse characters, not only should you, make your own, which I agree with, people have been saying that for a while, for people of colored characters, I agree you should make your own, that sort of thing, which is what I'm doing, and what various other creators have done and will do. But here's the thing. It's harder to market original content than similar content that has been out there for 20, 30, 40 to 60, even 70 years so far. And the reason why is because everybody is used to one juxtaposed form of either storytelling, character design, and so on and so forth. You get that. But there's nothing wrong with that, because, as long as you make an original original content through storytelling, or just in general, just make unique designs, make good storytelling, write actual good characters that have a sense of not only familiarity to the viewer, but also, like, uniqueness from one another, then you've done your job as a creator to make characters that not only have cultural ambiguity, but also specifically have developed as characters. And you don't want to make it so that, like, oh yeah, they're facing these challenges because of this and so on and so forth. Like, yeah, this character right here is going to have certain aspects of that, but it's the way that your characters handle those situations that will define whether or not your character is a quote-unquote good developed character. Because if you try to handle it like every other comic book is handled those sort of situations, you will be ununique, you won't have your own ideas. It'll seem like you're trying to copy other people in the sense of already created media. And no one's original at everything. You know, nothing is original, but nothing is unoriginal, if you've heard that before. But, yeah. My thing is this, basically. You know, you want to try your best in terms of creating unique ideas, doing your best, and so on and so forth. So, the hardest thing about creating your own comic, at least that I've used so far, because I haven't started on mine. I have mine written out for the first issue. I'm going to have to continue writing it out before I draw it out. I'm just doing a cover variant right now, and I'm going to try to finish this for tonight. But basically, I'm going to have to get on that right as soon as possible. And I'll be posting my comic, panel pages, that sort of thing. Basically pages, spreadsheets, and all that stuff. So you guys can get a sense of what I'm going visually, and so on and so forth. And whatever you guys think about that, please let me know, because that would be greatly appreciated. So, give me a second. But, yeah, those are some of more or less the issues that I have with comics in general and comics today. You don't want to make them so unoriginal. You don't want to make them seem like they're copying everybody. It's kind of hard to do, because now there's a medium where which everybody's like, oh yeah, you're trying to do this and that, and it's like you're trying to make original content, but it won't get out there as much. My thing is, I'd rather be original in my content than trying to copy the predecessors of famous comic book industries, to show that I actually care, to me at least, to show that I actually care about what I'm doing. And even if it's not fully original, I would prefer to have it in my way of thinking, and so you can tell unique differentiation in style, and so on and so forth, and how I design my characters, write my stories, and that on and so forth. Instead of saying, okay, this character looks like this character looks like you might get that a few times, but like, yeah, your character might look like someone else's at one point, and so on and so forth, but your main priority should be, if they look similar, write them differently, because that's really what you're kind of going to want to do. Because, you know, you can have characters, whatever, and they look like one another, and so on and so forth, from previous characters that already exist and people are well known about. But what you're really going to want to do is write them so that they're unique and that your story is unique. Because if your character revolves around a story that is like everyone else's, it's going to be harder to be noticed. Because someone will think, well, most people will think, and those who might have or might have not read your stories will think, oh, this is just like every other story we've read. Which is something that you do not want to do at all. So, but that's another thing about it. And I'm really going to try to get into making my comic. And that's really what I'm going to try to do for this. Because 100% honestly, it might work, it might not work. I really hope that it does. But if it doesn't, I mean, I'll be able to tell why. And, you know, I prefer to have tried something than not have tried something at all. Because if you say you're going to do something and then try it, you're really selling yourself short, because everybody has great ideas. The ideas are cool and all, but until you put them into reality, they'll only stay as ideas. So that's really something that a lot of creators should think about, and that's what I'm really trying to do. That's why I need to start in the first chapter I've written out, see how I'm going to do it, get that done with actually as well, and then continue from there. So, and then we're also adding brick textures over here, so there's that. But yeah, let me know if you guys can hear me too, because I don't want to be talking and then not making any difference in voice and so on and so forth. For those who are in my live stream or have joined. But yeah, it's really what you kind of want to do for a comic. You want to try to make your ideas cohesive, visually pleasing to the viewer, unique, and do your best that you can with your ideas. Because me, I'd rather watch a movie or sort of thing that's original, or at least if it's based on someone else's work, I'd rather have it, unique in terms of direction and story a little bit than what I've read from a book. Because if that's the case, you're basically just paying more for something that already exists, that not only has a longer budget in terms of time and money that you can do, versus a movie. Basically, you get like at least 2 hours, maybe 3 if you're lucky, for a movie. Versus a book, you have no limit. Your only limit is how much time that for your viewer will give you, and what you can do for the comic, more or less, and what specifically will make it unique to the viewer. That's really your only two options, really, if I'm being honest. But yeah. Let me continue with this. But I used to check. Yeah, sorry about that. I used to check basically if my white gel pen works or not. And basically check how much ink I have in there as well. Well, give me a second. Check out something. Yeah, but yeah, but I'm doing the brick texture for this. Trying to finish this out, these buildings. This will be the last part, and then probably I'm going to texturize the moon as well. And then this background over here. That's it. Actually, let me bust these out real quick too, because I almost have everything done. Because this is done. This is done. All I need to do is finish this one, this back part, and these. And that's it. And the background a little bit. Yeah, I felt his story in the back of my bed. It's just my older brother sleeping, so I really had a trip about that. See. Yeah, I was gonna continue with this though, but okay, this is done for this hot part now, and this looks correct because basically for the lighting, if the moon's hitting here, you're gonna want to have it go here and darken on the side. So this is what I have. This is lighter. This is also lighter. I need to figure out how I'm gonna lighten this a bit. I got my inking pen. Using Micron, by the way, because those are good. But I've also highlighted it to show there's light hitting it. I was also thinking about that stuff on both of the sides too, actually, which is what I might do. Mm. Yeah, if you look really closely, you'll be able to tell that I also add highlights into this, specifically for the shoulder plating. Let me ink that one out too. So I got those. The shoulder pads, the armor. And I don't know what material to call his suit. It's more of organic. Certain aspects of it are man-made, like the shoulder pads, obviously this, and then the knee pads. But everything else mostly is organic, because his suit is comprised of shadow energy, which is what he uses as his ability. So, just that, which is pretty cool. continue this. Not this specifically, but the buildings. Face that part. So now all I gotta do is this. That's it. And usually what I start off with this is a squiggly pattern because the light is mostly hitting these buildings. If you look at a building, right, depending on the perspective, basically whatever light hits, and since the moon is here, it'll hit these straight forward. It'll hit this, but it'll also hit this. This will have the most light. This will have decent light, and then this will be mostly black, but it'll have a little bit of light, like a small minimum amount, which is why I made a building like this, specifically in terms of the whiteness in the front, and then the white going to black in the back areas. So but yeah. So I add kind of a lot of dots for this. But we're gonna do this side now because this is almost done. And then we're gonna do these two buildings over here. And that's it. But also for this, the title, I tried to blend it in kind of with the building, but also make it pop out more. Same with this character right here, and all these other characters. I tried to make sure that they match the lighting, because if you look here, right, it goes from, because this is mostly gray, because basically what I did was a splatter technique, but it starts from light with dark, because obviously the root of the hair, but it starts from light going to gradually get darker, because if you think about it, right, the lighting would hit here, and it gets darker the further it goes, which is why this is mostly going to be black, and this is kind of going to be a little bit black too, because the hand is covering over the knee, and if you do that, you add shadow, but depending on how you hit it. So yeah, it's going to be kind of a gray tint to those two. So I'm going to figure that out, add the gray tint, and that's it. But this is specifically gray as well, kind of same reason. And I've also added eye energy coming out, if you look closely. I'm going to have to make that a bit more distinct though too, so. So, yeah. Because I feel like there's energy coming out from his eyes, a whole bunch of extra stuff, so on and so forth, you know. Normal comic book stuff that you guys probably like. But basically, my character is also going to be dealing with supernatural elements, but also still being mortal, even though he does have abilities. Because, don't get me wrong, I like characters that have abilities, but like, at least make them human if they are human. So, there's that element to it. Like, if you're specifically not human, you know, give them whatever powers you want. That's how I view it. Because, you know, but if they're humans, like, make them at least have more challenges, because then the characters will be interesting. You know, just stuff, you know, you can interpret however you want. People mostly draw them in somewhat humanoid fashion with human anatomy, because that seems the most relatable, even if they're supposed to be characters from, say, like, a planet like the Athros, whatever you want to call it. I guess it sounds pretty cool. But whatever planet you want to call it, this sort of thing, these stuff can at least have a character that has a human anatomy or look to it to make it relatable to the viewer. But, you know, give them whatever character you want, because they're aliens, so really you can put whatever powers you want. I mean, he's a story creator, can do whatever you want, but that's what I would preferably do. But our jobs as creators is to make stuff either relatable, and not only relatable, but look cool, but also to make people think, more or less. Because what I like to do is try to make art that makes people think about interpretation and stuff rather than me giving them the interpretation. Because, I mean, for me, art shouldn't be there it is at face value, because that's not how life works. Life isn't like, oh yeah, this is how it is at face value. Life is complicated, unique, it has various perspectives. So you shouldn't just, someone giving you the answer all the time, you should be able to figure it out for yourself. Well, not even figure it out, interpret it for yourself. Rather than be given half-baked answers and expect those to be it. And then when you find out, because everybody has their own perspective, that it's not like that, you then get confused and so on and so forth about why is it not the way people told you to. And the reason for that is because that is not how things work. Because everyone has their own perspective on life. At least that I'm aware of. But, you know, and you shouldn't try to just accept all the answers that are given to you with it. Basically, you know, by society itself. You should be able to try to venture out to your own, you know, when you're older, that sort of thing, you know. Figure out life, you know, take care of responsibilities, obviously. You gotta do that, it's a fact. But, more or less, try to see what you get out of life, more or less. You know, try to be the best you can. Don't try to, more or less, think you know everything. Nobody does know everything. That's why I think it's funny that, oh yeah, adults be like, oh yeah, you know what you're talking about. It's like, you know, they have lived longer. Yeah, but like, if we're being honest, no human knows exactly what they are talking about. Yeah, there's some concrete evidence, but think about it, evidence changes like everything else. It either fits a narrative or becomes part of a bigger thing. So there's that. And I'm going to try to bust this out, get this done as soon as I can. Because I'm going to try to make this a good, decent, long enough live stream where it's interesting. But also get this done during the live stream. And I'm almost done, as you can tell. And it might look like I'm throwing a whole bunch of marks down or whatever, just random lines or whatever. It kind of is, because you get to think about it. Brick textures, you know, bricks are man-made. But you also want to make them at least unique in their own way, because no rock is exactly always the same, but make them distinct enough to make them as if they're detailed and unique, as if it's like a original piece, which is what it should be. Which is, for this piece, I look back realizing, you know, this piece right here specifically, it's a good piece when I started off, but I think this personally is better by a long shot. Because not only does it have more detail, but it also has, oh, thank you for joining so much. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you can hear me. But not only does it have more detail, it has better perspective, in my opinion, because this looks a little flat to me. Just a little bit, not too much though. Because if you think about it, this black line basically distincts it that it's a 3D building, and it looks 3D to a certain extent. But that's not my issue. My issue is that there's more detail in this piece than this piece. This was a straight up black and white piece. And not only that, the character looks more unique in this piece to me than this one. Because this looks like every other, you know, comic book character you'd probably get in the regular issue. To me, this looks way more unique than this. So there's that. And then the gargoyle. It looks cool now, but this looks like a more traditional gargoyle. So there's that as well. And that still kept certain elements for the character, the perspective, and that sort of thing for the cover. But, you know, that's the thing that happens when you grow as an artist. You really want to progress, as you can tell I have, because this was in, I think, early 2016, or earlier mid 2016, and then this is now, obviously. So I think I have grown as an artist. So there's that. But let me check this too. But yeah, also commissions are available. So if you guys want to ever hit me up for commissions, hit me up on Instagram and just let me know what you guys want. I'll try to do my best. I typically do traditional art. I am decent at digital art. But yeah, I'll also be trying to do a t-shirt company with my older brother, so that'll be fun. Unique designs and all that and so on and so forth. I'll probably be doing comic book characters. That'll probably be a demographic is pop culture and or, not specifically pop culture more or less, but it'll be, unique designs by me, thought-provoking, maybe social awareness, that sort of stuff. It'll be interesting, I'll save that for the least. So, because I want my stuff to not be like every other t-shirt company. I want my stuff to be not like every other comic book that has ever been drawn. And there are a lot of comics, but specifically like, the main comic book companies. But, yeah. Now, I did call out their characters earlier in the live stream, but like, I'm just giving examples, but I don't want to try to respect those companies, because those companies actually do enjoy their work. So, yeah. Give me a second. That's what we can do. This would be easier if I had a sponge, but yeah, I don't mind doing it by hand. It's more unique that way to me. And it might look like I'm doing the to line, which is basically what I'm doing, but at least they're unique, distinct lines that make every single one unique and handmade. And because kind of like when getting a suit, you don't want it to be, oh yeah, it's like every other one else. That's the thing. You want to make it unique as possible so that every other person who either views your work feels as if it was made for them, because that's how it should be, in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, you might, if I'm doing commissions or whatever, or doing printouts or whatever, there'll be copies or whatever, but I'll probably add something unique on every single one so that, people who buy it will feel as if it's original, because I want it to be that way. I want to have a sense of connection with my customers, people who will buy my art. I want them to enjoy the work as if I put in the painstaking hours that I did, not only for that reason, but so that I will have clients that will come back to me and ask for more pieces and more artwork that is original. That's solid care put into it. It is also still unique. So, give me a second. Okay, cool. Yeah, we still got some gel in here. So that'll be fun. Man, this is fun. Also, I will be uploading this to my YouTube channel. I mostly have gaming videos up there, but I'm trying to do more art videos as well. So, yeah, that's the other thing too. I was going to do a video game live, but I was like, I'll do a drawing live, because I've been saying I was going to do one, and I don't end up doing one for some reason. I end up doing gaming ones. But plus, I also want people to know that I'm still doing art, that sort of thing, so on and so forth. But Yeah. Okay. There goes that one. Yeah, we're almost done with this. That'll be fun. Let me just finish these. And then actually I can finish these because this will be easy. This is mostly just a whole bunch of random white lines anyways. So my issue was these side ones, but I got most of these busted out, so that's cool. There we go. Okay, there goes those. Time to bust these out. Come on. Looks like we're running out of white gel, so I'll see how far we can finish this. But because I don't have any more white gel pens right now, I'm about to buy a pack more. I'll hold it back, but I've only had one so far in terms of white gel pens though. That is why you also want to make sure your supplies are always constant. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure you don't have any supplies that have run out, and if you do, buy them ahead of time. Basically prepare. That's all. But yeah, so there's that. And I know I've been making you guys wait for a while, posting this sort of stuff, but I am trying to get this done as well. So there's that. But cool. Cool. Me. Okay, we're good. Let me keep going with this. I can't believe we're almost done. This will be easy after this. Because after this, it's basically just, I had to put stars. No, that's what I'm going to do. Like literal stars, because this is the moon and stuff, and you typically would see the moon with stars. Or just leave it blank, because sometimes they do that in comics, but why not? I'm also going to have to sign my name somewhere, so that they know this is original work. I'll edit in one of the bottom ones over here. Definitely. Because that'll be enough space to write my name. But also still be unique enough. Kind of like what they have with older comics. Because if you look at older comics, they have their signatures in the most random places. Like for instance, you'll see their signature in a building somehow. you'll typically see it at the top, because let me show you. I have some comics right now, and these were purchased, so this is not my artwork for these comics. But if you look here, right, you'll notice title, character, you'll see the signature in the most obscure places. Like, see, this is the artist, and, Todd McFarlane is the creator of Spawn, which is a great comic series. And then you have S. Krasinski, who's the artist, I believe so, and Todd McFarlane is obviously the writer. Then you have other stuff like this as well. You have Spider-Man, Cloak Conspiracy. You have the piece itself, the obvious signature, and then you have the writers and the artist, which is Doe. And then you have the title up here, and then basically like the title card, the subtopic. So you have those really, but in terms of comics, man, I feel like it's acting like it's dying, but it's not, because it isn't. Because it's not dying. It's pretty active right now for that pen, but for some reason it's acting up. I guess it's gonna act up because that's what things do sometimes. It's either the way that I'm using it, or more or less the angle that I'm using it at, which that's what it seems like. Because if you look now, it looks like it's more efficient. So yeah, but if you're trying to get more commissions, hit me up in Instagram. Let me know what you think about that. That'll be cool. Also, just usually draw stuff like this anyways. So just tell me what you guys think about this as well, because I'm going to try to get this done ASAP. I'm also going to whiten her face a little bit more, because the light should be a bit whiter on this side, kind of like how I just highlighted here, obviously. But this is also just natural light. So for this one, I should add a little bit more white for these two, but I don't know, I'll figure it out. Because this is also still pretty light if you look at it in actual light. So, and if you look at it, the paper is actually not from almost a gray tone, but yeah, okay. So it is the angle that I'm using it at. That was the issue why I was acting like it was dying. Cool. Cool. Yeah, but also for my signature, I'm going to want to make it clear that you'll be able to see it. So I'll work on that later too. I might also actually practice my signature. No, I might do that after this, or I might do it right now. Let me figure that out. I'm going to try my signature real quick. Yeah, that's probably the signature I'll use. Yeah, I'll just use that as my signature for the stuff right there to show that it is mine. It is original. Or I might look at signatures in terms of style, how to do those, because if you look closely, or the signature kind of varies as they keep creating. So I'm gonna add the textures out here for all these, and then I'm gonna add the white patterns later, because this will take care of most of the busy work with the texture. Because if you notice, all these textures, if you look close enough, the textures that I have out here that are more black than white, I did those first, then did that. But because it's easier if you think about it. Because basically for brick textures, for what I'm doing right now, you want it to be efficient, quick, and easy. You don't want it to be super tedious, because I want to actually get this done. But you also want to make it look nice, so which is what I'm trying to do. So you have that as well to think about as a creator. You know that I want to make it nice, like also just the style in general. So it's really up to the creator itself, or the artist if you're drawing someone else's stuff, because it's all about style, to be honest with you. But actually, this should be a bit more black, but I'll keep that in. Why not? It's close enough to it, anyways. And actually, since that is very white pigment on the tone, well, it's not a tone actually. That was a stupid comment that I just made. But basically, since this is white for the front of the building, that won't be hard to do. Because I was confused on how I could make it sneaky, but it wouldn't be too hard anyways. So, yeah, I could have a signature on one of the sides, but I'm going to add it in the front. At least it'll be easier to read, even though it will be sneaky a bit. Because you see all these, scribbles or whatever, you're like, okay, there goes the signature, that sort of thing. It's kind of like Where's Waldo for signatures. Silly enough. So, cool. You can see this. Get these done with. Cool. There goes that. And you're going to want to do this for most of these, if you're doing brick texture, by the way, for those who are wanting to be artists and that sort of thing, or if you're just practicing art in general for fun. So, yeah. Cool. Now, I'm going to finish this, get this done with, bust that out, that's it. That's all I really got to do now, which is going to be cool. Because when I'm done, I'll be able to post it as the official piece that's done, and then start on the next one as soon as possible. And I will be doing a video on that next piece that I'll be doing. Not only that, it'll be like a progress video for the piece itself. And this might also be another cover, because I feel like the composition is pretty basic, and it could be cool and more action, like in terms of the pose. I mean, this is a decent action pose, but like it could be more dynamic. That's what I'm saying, more or less. So, cool. So yeah, this is pretty fun. But let's think about adding these sort of textures as well to the bottom. You want to make them unique. But also interesting enough. Give me a second, I'm doing something. Cool. So when I'm done adding all these, I'm just gonna scribble these in, and that's it.